Hey everyone, and welcome to Basman Studio. I'm Charles Basman. So in this new video, I'm going to be teaching you how to paint and draw a tree. So we're going to be using photo reference as opposed to painting directly from nature. But I encourage you to paint from nature, from as we call plein air. So in this new lesson, I will help you get to the root of the problem, if you forgive the pun, and help your art branch out, if you forgive the second pun. So sit back and relax, and let's start this new lesson from Basman Studio. So as usual, we're going to start with a very simple drawing, and I'm using a very sharp round brush just to delineate the basic forms. And if you think of things geometrically, you could think of a tree, at least this tree, as a triangle. So you want to keep it very simple and work on the contour, which the contour meaning the outside of the tree. And you can see I'm just keeping it very, very simple with no detail. Remember, you want to avoid detail as much as possible. And I'm also showing the horizon line. So very, very, very simple. And just putting in any object. So it's almost like you're setting up a stage setting for your painting. You're saying where everything is going to be. And for this, I'm using a burnt sienna. So I'm keeping it monochromatic for a while until I have the drawing laid out. You could use, some artists use blue, some artists use black for the other drawing, that's fine. I prefer using burnt sienna because burnt sienna is a very rich brown, and it gives the painting pretty much like a glow, almost. So now I'm choosing the light source, and using a big brush, I'm just delineating where the light's coming from. In this case, the light's coming from the upper left side of the painting, and I'm just showing where the shadows are. So as you can see, I'm using very broad strokes. Again, no detail. This is still monochromatic, and I'm still using burnt sienna. And almost impressionistically, I'm just going around showing where light's coming from. At this stage, the painting should start working. It should start showing a three-dimensionality. Do not wait until you have color to make the painting work, so to speak. It should work from the very, very beginning, from the drawing stage. The drawing is your foundation. Just pretend that you're doing pretty much a complete painting in monochrome. And even the shadow on the ground, which helps give gravity to the painting. And now I'm just delineating the branches, giving it more solidity. But I'm still not putting any detail. This is not considered detail. This is just basically what we call blocking in. Now, back to the round brush, I'm just delineating some branches, still using the beautiful burnt sienna, which is a very rich, beautiful brown to use as an underpainting. Either in acrylic or oil, you could still, I suggest you use this for your underpainting. And just putting the tree trunk. So now I'm working with the sky, and I'm mixing a bit of ultramarine blue, a little bit of cadmium yellow and white, and I'm painting in the background. And now I'm going to go right around the tree. And the advantage of painting from back forward is that it pushes your subject matter forward. It gives the optical illusion of a three-dimensional object, because blue is the darkest color. So blue is actually pushing back while the rich color is being pushed forward. And I'm just, again, we're blocking in. So I'm just blocking in the large sky with a big brush. So you don't want to be not careful, but you don't want to be too careful. You just want to kind of put in the big general areas of paint. And as I get closer to horizon line, I add a little bit more yellow, because in nature, the sky gets lighter as it gets closer to the horizon line. And I added just a little bit of yellow. If I had too much yellow, of course it would turn green, and we do not want that. So I added very, very, very minimal amounts of yellow to the blue. And you can see how that's helping push the tree forward. Just adding a few more of the background before I begin the next stage. So I've come back to the painting, and now I'm just gonna make the sky a little bit more strong. So I could add a second layer to the sky. And you can see how that helps. And what's great about this is that if this were oil, I'd have to wait a few days, but being that it's acrylic, it dries relatively quickly. And just going back and putting in some finishing touches to the sky, like in the blocking in stage. It's a bit more yellow. And you could blend a little bit, but you don't have to overblend at this stage. Again, using a very, very broad, flat brush. And now I'm mixing the color for the tree. So I mixed a little bit of blue and cadmium yellow. And I got this very rich yellowish color. I added more yellow because I want this to be bright. And yellow is the brightest color in the spectrum. So it's going to give our painting a sense of light. And again, I just want to keep it really, really simple. And I'm just going to go around to where the light is hitting the tree, basically. And just filling in as much as the big areas as I can. We will worry about shadow later. Right now we're just doing the light part. So you want to go all around. And even here on the side of the tree. Again, no detail, right? And if this were outside in nature, you'd have to paint very quickly as the light changes every second, but here we are in my studio, so I could take a little bit longer. And also the light on the ground. So just want to go all around. And big broad strokes, remember? Don't worry about the little things yet. And even the light on the background. So basically it's just a few simple colors. And now we could do the shadow on the tree. And I mixed a bit of viridian green with ultramarine blue to get this very, very rich dark color. I did also add a little red because red is a complementary to green. And it's just going to make our green darker and more contrast to the light. And you can see, again, I'm doing a very impressionistic approach to this painting and keeping every brushstroke very, very broad and very large. And just going around. So this is going to give our painting a sense of power and light. So we have a definite light source. It's also going to give our painting a three-dimensional quality. And just going on the left hand side of the tree, just putting in like the shadows on that side as well. And also on the trunk of the tree. So you see it's starting to pull out a little bit more. So I added a little bit of blue to burnt sienna and I got this very dark brownish color. Remember, if you want to make colors darker and richer, you add some blue, because blue is the darkest color in the spectrum. And you can see how that's helping as I go around, branch by branch, and pull things out. And also on the right side, pulling things out. So we're getting a more three-dimensional quality to the painting. And it has more weight to it as well, more gravity. But these are all done very broadly. So now I could go back with a smaller brush, and now we're going to get a little bit more into detail. Very impressionistically, I'm just going to add the delineation of leaves on the tree. Again, using a very dark greenish color. And I could also go back with the same small brush and fix the sky. So right now what I'm doing is fixing anything that needs to be fixed, giving a bit more of a finished quality. So once everything has been worked out, you can go back and do all the small details and what I call the cleaning up, which is the background. And anything that you feel that you might have missed. And just going around. And even here between the branches of the tree as well. Areas that I could see that have not had color yet. And I can go back and again, impressionistically, just add some more light on the tree. In a bit of a more impasto or rather thicker paint application. And you can see that really does help give a three-dimensional quality to like the painting. Just a few more, and then again going back and putting in a bit more of the dark with a smaller brush. So again, this is where you can start adding detail. But you just have to make sure that everything is blocked in correctly before you do any of this stage. So don't rush into detail, just make sure everything is worked out. But once everything is worked out, you can do all these beautiful small details. With practice, you'll know when to actually get into the details, basically. And just, again, making all the delineations of leaves on the tree, from dark to light, etc. And even the cleaning up of the sky can be done at this stage. And right now I'm just fixing the drawing, basically. Anything that I feel could be fixed and cleaned up, at this stage I'm doing. So sky is a great way to push forward your drawing. And any area I could see that needs to be sharpened, basically. It's almost like you're redrawing your painting. And to me, it's one of the most fun parts of painting is the redrawing of a painting, the cleaning up, basically. And now I could do any part that I could see that needs to be painted over, such as the shadow on the ground. I could make a much richer green than before. So I'm just going to make it more powerful so that the tree has some weight to it and gravity. So basically you're working in layers. You think of it that way. And this is basically what the Impressionists would do. And even the background, I could delineate and show the horizon line much clearer than before. And then working, one of the last things is to work on the bottom and just clean up anything that needs to be finished. And adding in this beautiful light green to the background. And just making sure I'm putting in all the colors where they should be. And I could blend even. This is the part where I blend. And here we have it, our finished tree painting. Well, I hope you enjoyed that art lesson from Basman Studio. Remember, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. If you have, I thank you very much for subscribing. So I encourage you to paint from nature in plein air. And also, just to keep in mind that I will be teaching a plein air workshop here in Central Park from July 14th to the 16th, sponsored by the New York Academy of Art. I will leave a link in the description below. Also, remember, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in my comment section, and I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have regarding this lesson or any previous lesson from Basman Studio. So remember, go out there, be creative, do incredible artwork, don't let fear stop you, and I'll see you next time on Basman Studio. Have an amazing and creative day, everyone.